Greetings, Imperial citizens, and welcome to Codex Compliant, the show where we take a look at the various codices, magazines, and general stuff put out by Games Workshop over the years.
In this pilot episode, we'll be looking at the 1999 Codex Assassins.
Silent, deadly, and unexpected, Imperial assassins are amongst the most lethal warriors in the Imperium. No enemy of the Emperor is safe. Heretic or traitor, beware the wrath of the Imperial assassin.
I just read a story where an assassin kills people with a soup spoon. So what's so special about this codex, or codex supplement, technically? Well, there's a couple of things. For one, it's short. Really short. This thing is only 12 pages long, making it the same amount of pages as the current Tactical Squad Painting and Assembly Guide. You know, the thing that just comes in the box and most people probably don't even look at.
You also couldn't just buy it. Not really. There were, to our knowledge anyway, only two ways to obtain Codex Assassins. You could either get it for free with White Dwarf issue 235, which is how we have it, or alternatively you could send off for it from GW's old Skulls loyalty scheme. So it was short and it wasn't available on store shelves, but what about what's actually in it? Well, as you would assume, there are rules and snippets of lore for the 4 assassin temples. The Sniping Vindicare, the Psychic Abomination Colexus, the Shape-Shifting Calidus, and the Combat Drug-Filled Eversaw. 4 names we've never heard said out loud, so we're probably going to be pronouncing wrong throughout this video. Sorry.
Rules-wise, they expand and refine the rules laid out for them in the 3rd edition main rulebook. So for example, the Vindicare Assassin, who previously just had a fancy rifle and the ability to pick his targets, now has a stealth suit, a spy mask, special one-use ammo, and is now able to actually use the pistol he's carrying. This expansion of abilities comes at a cost though, as unlike the 50-point flat rate for assassins in the main rulebook, those from Codex Assassins cost an additional amount to assign them to the specific temples. To use the Vindicare as an example again, since he's the only one we actually have a model for, he costs a total of 110 points to field from this book.
Actually, as an aside, in the 3rd edition main rulebook, the original assassin rules are alongside things like Inquisitors and Preachers in the Heroes of the Imperium section, those being units that can be fielded in any Imperial army. Now, in the 3rd edition Dark Angels Codex, it's stated that they can't take any Heroes of the Imperium as they don't want outsiders poking their noses into their business due to their complicated past vis-a-vis heresy. However, the assassins from this book are their own thing and aren't considered to be part of the Heroes of the Imperium army list anymore. So, just reading the rules as written, in 3rd edition, according to the Dark Angels, assassins from this book, no good, snitches, can't trust them, but the ones from this book, good lads.
Anyway, due to the small size of the book, there isn't too much lore in here. There's a little story attached to each of the 4 assassin entries to give you an idea of what they're like. For example, there's an Assassinorum report about a Vindicare called Mariah's Skult who snipes an Orc warlord and blows up their camp, and a short where renegades are taken out by a Kill Crazy Eversaw in the way that Kill Crazy Eversaws do. It also carries on the fine tradition in 40k of mentioning the most ridiculous goddamn bullshit in an offhand and very casual way and expecting you to just accept it as normal. There's a small entry off to the side called Mother Gullet which tells the tale of how a Calidus assassin kidnapped the son of a governor who was defying imperial rule and, I quote, "Employing the shape-changing powers of polymorphine, the resourceful assassin swallowed the child like a python and carried it away past the guards in her belly." In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only Vor.
There's also a few other bits in here, like the assassination of Comrade Kurz or the Wars of Vindication. It's not much compared to what you get in the other codices of the time, but then again, those other codices aren't 12 pages long. For the same reason, there's not many pictures of models in here, or artwork for that matter, although there is this large picture of an Eversaw making a nuisance of himself that is pretty neat.
The last thing to mention is the Gaming with Assassins section. As well as giving the assassination scenario where one side has an assassin who must try and kill a specific target, there's also a list of ways to play non-conventional games where one of the players has only one assassin versus an entire army.
Due to him being our only assassin model, we'd quite like to try the one where a Vindicare isn't placed on the table, but the player keeps track of where he is and tries to snipe an advancing army while they search for him, leading to things like the opponent having to turn their back on the table whilst the assassin measures distances to maintain the illusion. The assassin model would only actually be placed on the table should an opposing model get within 2 inches of him and blow his cover. Another one is a game where an assassin stalks the halls of an enemy command post that involves using Space Orc tiles that you could even play solo if you wanted.
There's also examples given of how you could use assassins in non-Imperial armies, like when two Orc war bosses are fighting and the outcome is more favourable to the Imperium if one wins over the other, so they send an assassin to make sure that happens. Although they do recommend that in those cases the assassin is controlled by a third player who has their own mission priorities that don't necessarily line up with the players they're, quote, helping. It's always nice when they suggest things like that. It feels like they're embracing a little of 40k's role-playing heritage in all of its unbalanced, quirky glory.
So that is Codex Assassins. Despite its short length, it is very satisfying.
I expect that sounded better in your head.